what you're looking at is about northwest out of Bais Bay. I'm heading out and heading down south. The light green line there, of course, is a huge reef that covers the north and east side of the bay. Looks like a very pleasant place. Probably could do some really nice snorkeling out there. The water's quite shallow. I would say most of it is less than 10 feet. Out here on the south end of the reef, somebody has built these houses. They're not really houses, they're more like cabanas or something, where people will come out either from here on Negros or from Cebu, which is right across the channel there. Anyway, they come over here on these bunker boats and probably bring everything with them that they need for the day, drinks, food, and such. And just come over here and have a real pleasant day in the sun and the fun. And go out and play in the water. Watch out for your feet. Don't get cut on the coral. But a really beautiful place. Here's a bit of a closer look at the goings-on here. A boat full of people. This time of the afternoon, they're maybe getting ready to head back across the channel. It's almost 2 o'clock. Takes about an hour, a little bit less, I guess, for these boats to cross the channel. Or maybe they're just hiding out from the sun because it's quite warm. Unfortunately, even this time of the year, the water here is pretty cool. And I see a lot of people over there in the water, but they got shirts or something looks like the top of half of a wetsuit, because it's pretty nippy to stay in that water for any period of time. Here I am in Tambobo Bay. That's on the island of Negros, down at the very southern end. I'm just sitting out here in the bay in my dinghy, drifting slowly downwind towards the south. At a rough count, there are about 30 sailboats in the bay. A number of them are pretty close to being what I would call derelict status. There are a few where the owners are still living aboard, but I do not think they are actively sailing anymore. And then there are a number of boats that are here and the owners are living aboard. And I guess I would say they are transient. They're staying here for a time, and then eventually we'll move on, like myself, for instance. I just came down here for a visit, and when I get a good chance, a good break in the weather, where the easterlies or the northerly winds stop for a day or so, I'll head back up to Cebu. Anyway, it's a pretty nice bay, very well protected because the entrance does kind of an S-turn. So if you're up here at the head of the bay, like I am, it's very well protected from the waves. I rode out Typhoon Yolanda here. Now, I had about 12 hours of torrential rain and about 12 hours of fairly strong wind, about 45 knots. But the waves never got bigger than about 1.5 feet high in here. So that was strictly caused by the wind blowing over the water in the bay. that was not caused by any seas coming into the bay from out in the ocean. Today is a pretty nice day. It's quite cloudy, so it's a little cool. There's a nice breeze blowing, of course, from the north through the bay. The actual wind is probably northeast or northeast, but because there's a fairly high ridge line on each side of the bay, anything from north to northeast blows from north to south through the bay. That way is looking north in the bay, and way off there in the distance is a little house built out on the water. I went there Friday night with a group of other sailors because they have the lady who lives there produces a meal. It's kind of a buffet meal, and everybody pays for it, of course, and she has drinks. And like sailors, most places all sit around and talk about boats and sailing and cruising and such like that. Many of the people that came are long-term residents here, but with a sailing background. Just about right there in the center of the picture is Sunshine sitting at anchor. Most of the boats here that have been here for a while have put in moorings, like I did there in Carmen Bay. Anyway, this is the looking across to the east, and down to the south. Straight ahead there is the ocean, but the entrance, you can't go straight out that way or you'll find yourself on the reef. Even the local fishing boats don't go straight in and out there because they would rip their props off the boats. It's a pretty shallow reef across the mouth of the bay. It also helps to offer protection to people inside the bay. When I go out, I have to go there right to the entrance and make a sharp left turn towards the east to stay in a deeper channel to get out of or away from the entrance of the bay. Anyway, I'm going to take a ride down there in the dinghy because I have some things of interest that I want to get a video of. This is a boat that's definitely been reduced to derelict status. This is a boat that I find of interest. It's built in the style of a Chinese junk. Has a mainmast aft and the foremast tilted forward by design to help balance the sail plan on the hull. A couple of boats ago, I built a boat, complete 30-foot boat that had a junk rig also, but it was only a single mast. This area in the harbor is an ongoing construction project. That house over there that you can see in the distance with the brick red roof is right next to a new road. There was an existing road that came down here into Tambobo. It used to be a dirt road. Now it's a very nice two-lane concrete highway. It comes down, and right here at the T intersection going to the south, the road continues, and it goes just a little ways to the north. That big pile of stuff there are all concrete pilings. Presumably what they're going to be constructing here is some kind of a pier. Not sure if it'll be just for fishing boats, ferry boats, something like that. And here's a fine example of the art of wooden shipbuilding. Now, this is certainly going to be a fishing boat, and it's not being constructed entirely from new. This is a rebuild of an existing boat, although by the time they get done with it, about 60% of the original vessel will have been replaced by the looks of it. You can see where it's been painted red up forward here, the frames. That's all new, and most of the frames all the way back down the side of the boat are new. But the keel and some of the frames there from where it stops, the red paint stops going aft, are the original. The engine's sitting back there under a blue tarp. You can see the new deck beams. Some of those are through bolted, and some of them just have big lag bolts in there. It's quite a project to do something like this. Evidence of a saw blade mark, so they did have some power tools, and of course the frames and such have been surfaced with a milling plane. Pretty heavy duty timbers, heavy construction. You see the thickness of the hull plank down there. It's quite heavy. So a boat like this hopefully will last, when it's finished, maybe another 30 years, depending on how much maintenance the wood is given over that lifespan. And hopefully they'll catch lots of fish and make it worth all the labor involved in doing a project like this. There are a couple other boats here along the beach that are being refurbished as well. Some smaller, some larger. And I can tell you, after doing a very small amount of work on a few wooden boats, tackling a project like this is nothing easy. It takes a lot of physical grunt labor. Shaping the planks, getting them to fit tightly enough so even with caulking they don't leak. It's a real art, and it takes some training and experience. Of course, got a big old diesel motor in there with the reduction gear. And back aft here they've bolted the new frames onto the old knees and had to put the bolts into new holes. You can see here in the ends of some of the knees the evidence of rot in the wood. And also there are a number of versions of marine animals, little critters that get into the wood and eat it, just like termites. But evidently there's enough sound timber left there to make it worthwhile reusing those existing knees. Hell of a project, folks.